Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. We have come to the final, absolutely final part of this wonderful Rise World Summit 2021. Now, why good morning, good afternoon, good evening? Well, because that's what we've done. We've actually transgressed time zones. We've reached out to people across the world, and that's what we have come here after 36 hours of absolutely scintillating conversation, great reach out to across the world, and amazing collaboration opportunities which have opened up. Now, let me tell you, just to give you an idea as to how big the Rise World Summit this year has been. 36 hours, 8 time zone, 1,120 participants, nearly 60 countries, 65 partner organizations, and 48 sessions. I mean, you just can't, the mind boggles at the extent at which we have kind of brought the world together on one stage in just 36 hours of amazing breakthrough conversations. You know, when we all know what we have gone through last year. It's been a year when the world has been locked down for most of the time, and we are still not completely out of the woods. And we remember Rise last year when we did it at IIT Mumbai and the Symbiosis Institute in Pune. I don't think it was in anybody's mind that this year we would not only kind of combat this kind of setback that we had in terms of physical appearance, but we'll actually use that to our advantage and take this summit truly global. And we need to thank all of you for that, because each one of you has played a stellar role in making this a huge success. And this evening is actually to commemorate that. This evening is when we'll be seeing a lot of awards being given. We'll be listening to some amazing speakers from across the world address us, and we will be celebrating. We'll be celebrating not only these 36 hours, we'll be celebrating humanity coming together and pooling in the resources to make a difference. So without further ado, may I just go through a couple of quick housekeeping instructions. Of course, we are doing this in a webinar mode, but what will really help is if we keep our microphones on mute and our videos on, so that we can see who's out here. But if we keep our microphones on mute, and please unmute them when it's your time to speak. So without further ado, I would like to go straight on to our opening address. And our opening address is by none other than Ms. Cheryl Pinto, Executive Director, Corporate Services of Glenmark Pharmaceuticals, a huge partner with Idobro over the years. And to do a formal introduction, may I call upon Ms. Ashwini Kumar, Head of Digital Transformation for Idobro. Ashwini?
So honored to actually introduce Ms. Cheryl Pinto. She has been such a big support for Idobro since the very beginning, and being a big part of Glenmark Foundation and bringing so many organizations and to life. I'm so happy to introduce Ms. Cheryl Pinto, and thank you so much for being a part of this and for being such a support system for us.
Thanks, Ashwini. And I'll go through a little formal introduction of Cheryl. Ms. Cheryl Ann Pinto is an executive member of the board of directors and is one of the promoters of Glenmark Pharmaceuticals Limited. She has over 30 years of pharma industry experience and has been associated with Glenmark since 1999. As executive director, corporate services, she heads Glenmark's human resources, corporate communications, corporate social responsibility, information technology, administration, and insurance functions. Prior to association with Glenmark, Ms. Pinto had founded a pharmaceutical company where she was the managing director for 10 years. Glenmark's CSR initiatives under her leadership have been recognized by the Bombay Chambers of Commerce Award 2014 for the contribution in the area of child health, reducing malnutrition and infant mortality, improving medicine access, and providing sustainable livelihood. Ms. Pinto has received the Women's Leadership Award at the CMO Asia's 5th Best CSR Practices Award in 2015, and was also acknowledged as one of the 100 most impactful CSR leaders globally by the World CSR Congress in 2017. Ms. Pinto holds a bachelor's degree in pharmacy from the Institute of Chemical Technology, ICT, in Mumbai, and has also completed the general management program from the Harvard Business School in Boston. Cheryl Ann, all yours. Thank you.
Okay. My warm welcome and greetings to our esteemed guests present this evening. It gives me immense pleasure to address this audience and the dignitaries present here today at the virtual grand finale of Glenmark's Nutrition Awards, which is in partnership with IDOBRO Solutions and our knowledge partners UN World Food Programme. We're here to recognize organizations that have done outstanding work during these most unprecedented time of the hunger pandemic of COVID-19. Let me start off by congratulating the participants for their relentless effort and prompt response in reaching out to the distressed and vulnerable communities during the pandemic, which completely caught us off guard, as you know, and unarmed. It takes a lot of courage and resilience to weather such crisis and reach out selflessly. Glenmark Foundation is among the first to come forward to support the most vulnerable, be it those in need or those soldiering the pandemic from the front lines. Glenmark Foundation pledged 50 lakh meals to the needy, provided essentials to the migrant workers, and PPE kits to medical staff across India. We are pleased to be part of the incredible effort of Jeevan Rath Coalition convened by the UNICEF Maharashtra along with the Rise Infinity Foundation. Our medical specialists also managed to reach 3 lakh beneficiaries across Himachal Pradesh, Madhya Pradesh, Gujarat via their telemedicining activity. We also extended support and appreciation for 50,000 law enforcement personnel across 12 Indian cities. Even before the pandemic, Glenmark Foundation has been focused on malnutrition as the core issue, with special attention to children in the age group of 0 to 6 years and pregnant and lactating women. Our foundation has adopted a 360-degree approach to tackling malnutrition through various programs and interventions. Thus, our Glenmark Nutrition Award is just another attempt to strengthen the ecosystem and specifically support the non-profit sector to fight the scourge of hunger and support mothers and children too. Glenmark Nutrition Award, we are positive, has covered under three categories, urban, rural, and open. And we're positively overwhelmed, with the response of receiving over 230 entries from multifaceted organizations, voluntary groups, and collectives from across India, as far as Lakshadweep, I may mention. It is inspiring to learn about the commendable efforts undertaken by each one of them. And I know that the jury has had a very challenging task to sift through all these entries, as well as choose the one which seemed deserving in one way or the other. This only reinforces our faith in humanity and gives us hope that we're not alone in this crisis. To say that we're happy for all of you is an understatement. Looking at your work, we're simply beaming with pride for your achievement, and it's very inspiring. I take this opportunity to thank participants who have showed us their commendable work and by applying for this Nutrition Award. And I would like to congratulate each one of them, each one of the shortlisted candidates and the leading participants for their success. So to conclude, I would like to say that we believe in all of you and that you'll have worked very hard for this endeavor and reached out to maximum number of human beings who have lost hope and helped them in the best way you can. We look forward to seeing you accomplish bigger things in future and keep growing and keep on achieving and make this world a better world than where you found it. So I'll wish you all the best and thank you for your time.
Thank you so much, Ms. Pinto. The Glenmark Nutrition Awards were sometime in the making. We have been talking about it since the last year, but all of us know how hunger became one of the biggest collaterals of the pandemic. And in fact, the theme of these awards, fighting the hunger pandemic, is so very relevant. I think, we are just, I think it's absolutely right that we are honoring these warriors, these soldiers who have actually fought the malnutrition and the hunger pandemic that we witnessed in the last 1 year. And to tell us more about the Glenmark Nutrition Awards, the process involved in it, it is my pleasure to invite none other than Vedika Shekhar, Associate of Niti Aayog, to come up and say a few words. Thank you.
Good evening to all of you. As we all know that nutrition is an important contributor to good health and has an important bearing to good quality of life as well. It becomes even more crucial in these unprecedented times of COVID-19 pandemic, which exacerbated not only hunger but all forms of malnutrition. It is in such times that I would like to take an opportunity to congratulate Glenmark Nutrition Awards, an innovative award program which recognizes the zeal and commitment of all those organizations which came forward and assisted those in need of this very basic human right, that is food. As a jury member, I was it was very heartening to see an overwhelming response of almost 229 entries from all corners of the world within a very short period of time. As Ms. Pinto already mentioned, that the entries came from as far as Ladakh to even Lakshadweep. We basically judged all these entries from 4 perspectives and criteria: innovation, collaboration, inspiration, and impact. It was not easy to judge the top 9 shortlisted entries, because all of them have done outstanding levels of work in terms of the collaboration and developing innovative strategies and creating an impact on each and every life that their work entailed. I would like to conclude by congratulating the winners, but I would also like to congratulate the all those organizations who have wholeheartedly participated in this very critical nation building exercise, which has direct bearing on the social and economic fabric of our country. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Vedika. That really gave us a great insight into the entire process that was involved in selecting the most deserving winners of the Glenmark Nutrition Awards. And before we actually get to announcing the winners of the awards, we would now like to felicitate the selection committee and the jury members who made this possible. And for that, may I ask Ms. Cheryl Pinto, Mr. Bischoff Pachuli, and also Mr. Philip Kotler, to kindly have the videos on so we can highlight you and you can be on hand to felicitate our distinguished selection committee. So starting with the selection committee, our first selection committee member is Ms. Deepika Goyal, Deputy Conservator of Forests, Karnataka Forest Department. We also have Mr. Anil Parmar, Director, Community Investment, United Way, Mumbai. If we could ask all of you to kindly just start your videos so we could highlight you. The next we have Mahesh Kamble, Assistant Professor of the Tata Institute of Social Sciences, Mumbai. Our next selection committee member, Dr. Ratnajit Thar, again from IIT Mumbai. We have Ms. Sandhya Fernandez, Manager of Brand Strategy, Dainik Bhaskar Digital. And we have Professor Brunel, Deputy Conservator of Forest, Karnataka Forest Department. We'll go to the jury members next. If you could just give me a moment. We'll ask our dignitaries to kindly stay on the screen for a little while longer. Yes, so our jury members, esteemed jury members, Mr. Satish Agnihotri, Head, Sitara, IIT Bombay. We have Dr. R. Hemlata, Director, ICMR, NIN, Hyderabad. And we have Mr. Neeraj Jain, Country Director of PATH. And of course, Vedika Shekhar herself, Associate at Niti Aayog. Please show your appreciation to our wonderful jury members with a clap, clap, clap on the chat, or any which way you would like to encourage them. Yeah. So we'd like our esteemed dignitaries, Cheryl Pinto, Bishop Parajuli, Mr. Philip Kotler, and Mr. Yusuf to felicitate our jury members. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. And now to get to the actual announcement of the evening, to announce the winners of the Glenmark Nutrition Awards, I would now first like to call upon Dr. R. Hemlata, Director, ICMR, National Institute of Nutrition, to actually announce the urban category nominations and the winner. Dr. R. Hemlata.
Thank you so much, Doctor. Greetings to all the esteemed members. The Glenmark Foundation, Mr. Amitabh Kant, Niti Aayog, Mr. Philip Kotler, Professor Satish Agnihotri IIT, the jury members, and various other participants and other dignitaries. Happy to be a part of the Glenmark Nutrition Awards at RISE World Summit 2021 closing plenary. I appreciate the efforts and the initiative taken up by the Glenmark Foundation with the World Food Programme as knowledge partners and RISE as process partners. The pandemic actually brought a big change in our society, like people, organizations extended wholehearted support to the needy, showing kindness and stood together to help them. Recognition is especially meaningful during pandemics. All of us know very well about this. In fact, the foundation, Glenmark Foundation, has also made remarkable contributions in other areas like supply of food grains to undernourished children, pregnant women, lactating women, also supply of drugs, PPE, sanitizers, etc. And now the Nutrition Awards 2021 with World Food Programme and RISE as partners. The COVID-19 pandemic has not only brought forth the fragility of the health system, but also aggravated the problems of undernutrition, stunting and wasting across the globe. Particularly in India, the pandemic has led to temporary disruption of the very important programs such as ICDS and midday meal programs. The recent latest nutrition report NFHS 5 did show increase in stunting and wasting, although mortality, under 5 mortality has decreased. The pandemic has thrown up a larger and a more complex question. How can we ensure that we address malnutrition holistically so as to safeguard our populations against future public health crises? Coming to the Nutrition Awards 2021, several contenders have participated, of which a few were shortlisted based on parameters such as innovations, collaborations, inspirations, etc. And here I'm happy to announce that in the open category, Impact Tree Data Technologies has won the Nutrition Award 2021. A big round of applause, please. Impact Tree Data Technologies is a citizen initiative who have worked across India, pivoting to livelihoods and entrepreneurship. They have worked across Maharashtra, Gujarat, Rajasthan, Delhi, Uttar Pradesh, Karnataka, Assam, West Bengal, Madhya Pradesh, Andhra Pradesh, Bihar, Jharkhand, Tamil Nadu, Orissa and Chhattisgarh. Their work impacted 1.50 lakh people with food rations and medicines. Their interventions saw volunteers from March 2020 assisting people not only for food but helping people in distress with travel assistance, distress help to elderly and vulnerable groups, children, sex workers and women alike. They showed great innovation in their work by setting up an online platform and a marketplace. Secondly, a digital delivery and verification through an empaneled grocer system or on ground volunteers. Then creating and working through citizens collectively. Hearty congratulations to the Impact Tree Data Technologies. Wishing all the best in your goal to positively impact over 5 million people by 2025 with better access to livelihoods, nutrition and a better quality of life. I take this opportunity to once again congratulate the GM Foundation, Glenmark Foundation for this wonderful initiative. All the best. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Hemlata, for this amazing introduction to Impact Tree Data Technologies. Congratulations, Impact Tree Data Technologies. May I request all of you to show your appreciation for the winners by using the chat box liberally. That's for us to actually show our appreciation for the amazing work they've done. Let us move on to the next award. And from the urban category nominations and the winner, we now move to the rural category nominations and winner. To do the honors, I would like to call upon Dr. Satish Agnihotri, Professor with IIT Bombay, Center for Technology Alternatives for Rural Areas, Sitara.
Thank you very much. Greetings from IIT Bombay. Let me congratulate, first of all, Glenmark Foundation and their knowledge partner, the WFP, for this extremely timely award. And I would like to congratulate straight away the Indigenous Development Organization, you can call it IDO, because their work impacts not just on hunger, but it impacts the hidden hunger. And I think in the post-pandemic era, we are going to see nutrition taking a big hit. I mean, fortunately, I think we are in a situation where calorie deficit will probably not hit us. But for children, the nutrition deficit or the hidden hunger is going to be a big area. of concern, particularly due to the economic downturn and the economic disruption. So this work, the award is timely for this, not just this organization, but for many organizations like this. And what do we have in the Indigenous Development Organization? A group of 3 committed doctors working towards providing primary health care, nutrition and education in the interior tribal habitations in Telangana, in Bhadradri, Kotagudem district. Now, we have many such pockets which are unreachable, and I think this work done by them provides us a role model. Their innovative protein mixes work to beat anemia and malnutrition in an area where there was no access to roads, electricity, drinking water, health services were poor, and in such an area they have challenged the traditional misbelief and provided healthcare to about 4,000 members in 31 habitations. Now, when we say 4,000 members in 31 habitations in a tribal area, we do not quite realize that we are looking at a very sparse population density. So in the same area in Mumbai, the number of people will be probably 10 times more. So we should keep that in mind. And they have given access to education and midday meals at 13 bridge schools set up within the habitation itself. So this intervention is very important in my opinion because it has a good replication potential in similar communities all over the country, particularly in the tribal belt which spans from Bharuch to Chota. And I think this is one important point. So congratulations to IDO, and I wish them the best in their plan to scale the intervention of primary health care now from 31 habitations to 103 habitations. And I have a vested interest that I would not just confine myself to those 103 habitations, but I think we should link up with the tribal development departments, not just in state governments, but in the center also, to see if this can be scaled up over a much larger area. And I'm sure Glenmark will both feel proud of this and would also probably come forward to support such efforts. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Dr. Agnihotri, and a huge congratulations to IDO, or Indigenous Development Organization, as Dr. Agnihotri put it, I do. We move on to the third category of awards, the Glenmark Nutrition Awards, and that is the open category nominations and winner. And to announce that, may I call upon Neeraj Jain, the Country Director of PATH, to do the honors. Mr. Neeraj Jain.
Thank you so much, Naresh. Thank you for inviting me here. I want to congratulate, of course, Glenmark for running these awards. It's a fantastic, initiative, and I really congratulate you for that. The World Food Program, Nobel Peace Prize winners, and I see Dr. Parajuli there, so congratulations and thank you. And also the knowledge partners, which is Rise Infinity Foundation. I also want to say that, when I was studying marketing, I studied books from Mr. Cutler, so I am really overwhelmed to see him also on the screen. Thank you. Just moving on to this award, I work in the health sector. And when the pandemic hit, we were focusing on health, focusing on how we're going to get people to hospitals, oxygen, ventilators, and all of that. We didn't realize that the actual pandemic was of people, of hunger, of poverty, of really an increased distance between people who have and people who don't. While we were worried about having to sit at home, there were people on the street, there were people who were not getting food. And I must say, going through all the entries, it was just so inspiring and overwhelming, and this was not an easy job. So please, next time, please don't invite me to the jury. It was a tough decision on getting to who should get this award. And that shows in this particular award, which is the category for urban winners. It shows that we were not able to make a decision. So we actually have a joint award for two organizations. The first one is Khana Chahiye, and the second is Project Mumbai. So, heartiest congratulations to both of you, Khana Chahiye and Project Mumbai. Khana Chahiye grew from a small relief camp to a people's movement impacting lakhs of people. Are you able to hear me? I'm not too sure because I'm getting a
Sorry guys,
lot
we
of
just won an award, so
We can hear you, Mr. Jain.
Okay, great. So I'll continue then. So Khanapati started from a small relief camp to a people's movement impacting lakhs of people during the lockdown, bringing a systemic, sustainable change and improving crisis management infrastructure in the city of Mumbai, which was hard hit by the pandemic. They also grew into a massive people's movement within a few weeks due to the community mobilization and fantastic work there, and a strong digital presence, absolutely innovative, which helped in fundraising, mobilizing volunteers, and reaching out to those who really needed it, especially when we were under lockdown. Project Mumbai is an initiative which was launched to provide relief to lakhs of migrant workers through multiple interventions. It focuses on approach and mapping not just applied innovations, but also they were kind of the first movers in terms of distress management. Congratulations. Collectively, Khana Chahiye and Project Mumbai have worked to provide more than 46 lakh meals across these projects. I think both winners have actually worked impressively towards vulnerable communities, including senior citizens, people with disabilities, focusing on them, children, commercial sex workers, migrants, homeless, and jobless. Their work was collaborative. They worked with multiple partners. They had a huge impact, and they worked from the ground level up as an army of citizen volunteers. Khana Chahiye's vision of combating the hunger crisis and development of a functioning crisis management infrastructure aligned with the UN SDGs to end global hunger. They also aim to develop a collaborative platform to effectively address systemic challenges going forward with the help from corporates and alternate model of public-private partnership in the country. Whereas Project Mumbai's vision to continue as a private-public partnership scalable model with sustenance in mind to help people find their feet, help them in employment, and make both the winners a great success going forward, and heartiest congratulations. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mr. Jain. Truly amazing work done by both Project Mumbai and Khana Chahiye. I've been informed that we have Ruben from Khana Chahiye with us. Ruben, can you kindly come up and say a few words?
So, hi Naresh, glad to connect with you after a very long time here. Thank you so much, Mr. Neeraj, for this honor. I dedicate this award to the many volunteers and our donors who enabled Khana Chahiye from being a small initiative into a movement. That is how we were able to impact people's lives. So whatever it was, whether it was the homeless on the streets or the migrant workers working on Mumbai's roads, or adopting railway stations and ensuring that every passenger in every train managed to have food on the way back home, we successfully were able to tackle every challenge that this pandemic threw at us. So thank you so much for this honor. We are now working at creating the world's first real-time hunger map, starting with Mumbai. And I think it's just an extension of what we learned during COVID. So thank you so much. And I'm honored to accept this award on behalf of my team. So our team is a very large team. So I have my co-founders, Rakesh ji, Swaraj, Anik, Neeti ji. So thank you so much for this honor.
Thank you, Ruben. It's great to see that you continue to do amazing work after so many years. It's great to have so many people like you contributing. Congratulations once again. And ladies and gentlemen, please show your appreciation for Khana Chahiye on the chat box. Thank you, Ruben. We also probably has the representative from Project Mumbai, Mr. Shishir Joshi, joined us?
Yes.
Yes, Mr. Shishir Joshi, would love you to come up and say a few words.
Well, I'm just overwhelmed. I just heard Ruben as well, and I would say thank you to each and every one who's contributed. Awards like these only encourage us. What I would like to say at this point is we are grateful to people of this region because of whom we got this opportunity to serve. I'm grateful to the hundreds and thousands of volunteers who worked with Project Mumbai, as separately as the work that we've done as part of the Khana Chahiye that we've co-led as well, and in different initiatives that we've done. What the pandemic has led us to realize is that Mumbai is the kindness capital of India, which Project Mumbai, through its tagline, Mumbai ke liye kuch bhi karega, is trying to build. This kindness capital has only generated more kind people, which has led all of us to help others and possibly in some way reduce the pain that people have felt. What we need to do at this point is to come together, to collaborate, and to build a much stronger community. So irrespective of a calamity like this, or even if a worse calamity does strike, we're all prepared, better prepared to serve others and to make the citizens, people who are facing crisis, far more resilient. I thank you once again, all of you, for choosing Project Mumbai, for this honor. And on behalf of all the citizens, once again, I'd like to say, Mumbai ke liye kuch bhi karega. Thank you once again.
Thank you so much, Mr. Joshi. Absolutely amazing the work you've been doing, and in partnership with Khana Chahiye as well. I think truly what you did for the city in this whole year was something that we really are grateful to you all for. I can well imagine what Mr. Neeraj Jain was saying, how difficult it must have been to choose a winner. But I think the winners of today are extremely deserving. Truly hats off to all of you. And I believe Ms. Rajeshri Sai from Impact Tree Data Technologies is here with us. Ms. Rajeshri, if you could kindly come on stage and say a few words.
Thank you so much for the whole RISE Summit team. And hi, Naresh. Nice to again see all our friends, Naresh, Ruben, Shishir, all of us who work together. I would really like to thank you so much for this honor. We really started as a small initiative way back in March or 28th, but we could become the Hunger Collective thanks to all the collaboration. We worked with Naresh, we worked with Khana Chahiye, and we worked with all our volunteers and donors, be it Dr. Menon, Zia, Ashlesha, and Niti, Anvita, Sukhdev, everyone in our team who still continues to work. We scaled the initiative in 10 states across India. And at that point of time when we started, we were a for-profit company, but Hunger Collective really gave us the passion to really start working in the area of nutrition and entrepreneurship. And we worked across trains, sending migrant movements, working on rations, working on sanitary access, sanitation pads for women, as well as we work with prison communities also. So just the scale which has been possible thanks to our volunteers and everyone who came in there was just an amazing experience. I think it's one of the lifetime experiences for everyone. I'm very grateful to, and also RISE. We worked so much with Karen's team and really appreciate all the encouragement that we got and all the support we got from everyone on board. We are now evolving to work a lot around nutrition and access to women and girls, especially those migrants we sent back, and also morphing it to work around livelihoods in agriculture, which is becoming critical today. So, like I said, it is our aim is that no one goes hungry, and we will continue on this mission to ensure that no one in India will go hungry. And in the future, we aim at impacting 5 million people by 2025. So that's our target. And I would really love all the partnerships that we could really play together to ensure that no one sleeps hungry and no one sleeps without having a job in India. And I think that's our vision. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Rajeshri. It's absolutely amazing the kind of work you've done. It's the impact that you've created is truly admirable, and we are grateful to you and your entire team for doing what you've been doing. Congratulations once again. A quick check, do we have the representative from IDO with us? Has a technical issue been resolved?
No, he's still trying to log in, Naresh. So
okay, I think what we'll do now is I think it's time for a group picture with all the winners. May I once again request Cheryl Pinto, we'll request Vedika Shekhar, Dr. R. Hemlata, Satish Agnihotri and Neeraj Jain, along with Karan Shaiva, and our winners, of course, our representative from Impact Tree Data Technologies, Rajeshri, from Khana Chahiye, Ruben Mascarenhas, and of course, Shishir Joshi from Project Mumbai. Can we have Dr. Sharma to join us? And Mr. Philip Kotler, could you please join us as well? And Bishop Parajuli. And we'll ask a representative from IDO to speak to us as soon as this picture is taken. Yeah. Thank you, Mr. Sharma. Ruben Mascarenhas, is he still on with us? Thank you. Thank you so much to everybody. And it is my honor now to ask Mr. Kapil Sharma to share a few words with the wonderful work that IDO has been doing and for this.
So, hello everyone. My name is Dr. Kapil Sharma, and since last 3 years, our organization, Indigenous Development Organization, which was founded by Dr. Narendra from Hyderabad, who is my senior from Medical College. So, he has started the noble cause of serving the neglected and needy people. So, with this thought of reaching the unreachable, he had personally visited few places where the healthcare, nutrition, education, things like that was lagging. So basically he found in his tenure of 6 months of personal visits that Bhadradri Kottagudam tribal habitations does not have access to primary healthcare, nutrition and education. So he started providing the primary healthcare services here. But after closely observing for few weeks, he observed that the preventive healthcare, that is the nutrition and clean drinking water, these are major challenges because there are several cases of malnutrition in these tribal habitations, as well as there is lack of connectivity, as we can see on the ground. And also this drinking water here was not safe. So with this, all this challenge, coming to the part of nutrition, what we thought is we have to give them something which is ready to eat, easily palatable, and also provide them iron, protein, carbohydrates and fat. This balanced diet is not there in these tribal community members. So we can see severe cases of anemia where the pregnant woman will have average hemoglobin of between 4 to 6 grams. So normally a person should have hemoglobin of 12 to 13 grams, especially when during pregnancy. There is physiological burden on the female body. So during this pregnancy state itself, if we see here, the hemoglobin average, what our survey has revealed is 4 grams, 6 grams, and in our last 2 years of our journey, we saw several cases of 2 grams, 1.2 grams. So we thought we should do something about it. So what I did is, I did some research on what we could give them with very low cost and which is very easily to provide them and distribute in these habitations every day. So I made a mixture of nutrition mix, which we call protein powder mix. It will have jaggery powder, roasted peanuts or groundnuts, as well as flour of roasted wheat, jawar and Bengal gram, which provide huge amount of carbohydrates, good amount of fats, and 14 grams of protein per 60 gram of this powder is available readily for them to have. So we have seen remarkable changes in last 1.5 years when we started giving this nutrition mix. The hemoglobin started to increase in under 5 age group children and pregnant women, lactating mothers, and we are seeing enormous results. So I thank the Glenmark Nutrition Award for choosing me and giving the opportunity to speak in front of you. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Kapil Sharma. Truly admirable again what Indigenous Development Organization IDO has been doing. And I think all of us can take a leaf out of your books and say, I do. We can make a difference in this world. Again, ladies and gentlemen, please congratulate Mr. Sharma and IDO for what they have been doing and the way they're making an impact in this world. Well, we have with us, ladies and gentlemen, a very, very special person who is going to address us next. He's none other than the representative and country director, United Nations World Food Programme, Mr. Bisho Parajuli, who's also a knowledge partner. May I call upon Andaleep Qureshi, our project and partnerships head at IDOBRO, to kindly introduce him.
Certainly. Thank you so much, Naresh, for this welcome. And I really feel very honored to be in a situation today where I am going to invite on stage a dignitary whose work, speaks for himself and really doesn't need an introduction. I think we all know what hunger can do to an individual, especially during the last year of pandemic that we all faced. We have seen how badly it affects everyone alike, whether you're a child or you're a senior. And the first organization that comes to our mind who's done commendable humanitarian work is the United Nations World Food Programme. And from here, I would like to invite Mr. Bisho Parajuli, who is the country director to India and the country representative. Mr. Parajuli brings with himself 35 years of distinguished experience in development, in humanitarian affairs, in diplomacy, in fundraising and management. He has worked in across all over the world, and it would be our honor to hear from him today, where under his esteemed guidance, the World Food Programme also won the Nobel Peace Prize last year. So please put your hands together and welcome Mr. Bisho Parajuli. Sir, please come on stage.
Thank you. Thank you very much for this opportunity. First of all, I want to really congratulate all the winners of today's award. The World Food Programme India is honored to be partnering with this Rise World team and in the Glenmark Nutrition Award. It's an added voice with these efforts in bringing concern of hunger and all of us joining in addressing that. So I see a big value in that. The World Food Programme sees global rise in hunger due to pandemic, and there are already close to 690 million people globally who go to bed hungry every day, and close to 270 million people in the context of this COVID, doubling from 130 million, reaching to a level of acute hunger. So therefore, the concern of hunger, although is invisible, is a huge concern to humanity. It's a huge concern in the context of the basic right of every individual. So therefore, this special event organized jointly with Glenmark and really IDOBRO team is a commendable step. What I heard just now about the 36-hour marathon relay conference across time zone, joining thousands of individuals and across almost half of the membership of the United Nations is really commendable. I want to really congratulate that. And also the important point to stress here is, as there was reference made, the World Food Programme was recognized and awarded a Nobel Peace Prize for 2020. The key element in the context of that was there is a rising hunger issue. And the World Food Programme has been in the forefront, daily providing food support to 130 million people across the world in 84 countries. And then we are also partnering with the government, working with government to capacitate, to bringing policy changes to address that hunger. So therefore,
recognizing these organizations in a way, in a many way, we are awarding, transferring these, recognition and prizes. Food is an important tool for peace and a basic need for the humanity. So organizations engaging in addressing that is really commendable. So I could not be more happier to be in this forum to discuss that, and I appreciate the organization who are involved in supporting communities, individual, and those who are really invisible and meeting their basic need. Really, thank you, thanks, and big congratulations to all the winners. But I want to also commend those who have not won, because they are also doing this marvelous work and reaching out to humanity. So it's very, very important that they are also equally recognized. The United Nations Secretary General is convening a World Food Summit in September because of this rising concern of hunger globally. And it is a huge challenge in the 21st century to still have people hungry. And there is plenty. It's not that there is a lack of food. There is a science, there is a technology, there is the resources. Look at how many trillions dollars were mobilized during this COVID period, and how many billionaires have added how many billions. But sadly, the hunger is doubling. In fact, my executive director, in addressing the UN Security Council and globally appealing the global billionaires to join in meeting this challenge of rising hunger. So I'm really glad to see this private sector partnership in bringing this voice, and very glad to hear the efforts of organizations like Denmark supporting the organizations with various food support. I have personally witnessed during the context of this COVID period and lockdown, big effort by civil societies, volunteers, community organizations coming in and serving meals to hundreds of thousands of people who could go starve otherwise. At one stage, I counted about 20 million meals being served during this period. So this is really commendable, and it can happen only through the efforts of the civil societies, the joining in hand of the private sector, communities, and volunteers. So through these efforts, what we are doing and recognizing today, we are really appreciating the work of these really standout stars or the heroes, and it is a right step. And we are really glad the World Food Program to join in as a knowledge partner with the Rise World Summit efforts and work on together. And I want to also say a little bit, few words in the context of what's happening in India. The government of India is doing a lot of good effort in terms of supporting people with food need. In one way or the other, 1 billion people are provided with food support through the public distribution system or midday meal or ICDS in one form or the other. And then during that lockdown period, immediately there were increase in food support to meet additional needs. But in spite of all that efforts, and over the years decline in malnutrition, there is still a challenge of malnutrition and hunger in India. That is because the malnutrition concern is a combination of food intake, water sanitation, health, and knowledge in the context of India. So we see a need to work in a comprehensive way to address malnutrition and food security. And some of these efforts have begun already, and we believe efforts like Posan Abhiyan and others are commendable steps. But what we also see and what we have begun as a best practice in the context of WFP's partnership with Government of India, which goes almost 50 years back. But since the self-sufficiency in India on food, we have shifted our focus towards innovation, bringing best practices, system reform, capacity building, etc. And we are working jointly supporting in these efforts. So going forward, these are the elements which will really need to be sort of embraced, such as like diet diversification, increased intake of vitamin and minerals, either through consumption of diversified foods or food fortifications, and also certain element of behavioral education. So so the need of the women and children, adolescents, girls, in terms of nutrition intake are there. And finally, what I also want to say is civil society continue to play a very important role. Research institutions continue to play an important role. We have signed an agreement with IIT Delhi. We have a professor from IIT Bombay there, and working towards targeting, working towards efficiency, working towards programs such as these, One Nation, One Card. So anyone who is needing in one part of the state moves to other states, have access to these support. Lastly, what I want to say is with all these efforts and joining communities and various organizations, I'm sure we can defeat hunger. And I like that commendable commitment from some of the winner and demonstration of that effort and solidarity. So we in the World Food Program are committed in ending global hunger and in joining hand with Government of India and partners like yourself to bring knowledge, to bring technology and global experience to address that. So thank you very much for this opportunity. I want to really appeal for increased private sector involvement, which we have already begun, and they play an immensely important role in joining hand in different ways to support the work of these organizations and bringing a strong partnership. So thank you very much indeed for this opportunity. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mr. Parajali. You really touched upon some very, very important points to look at as we kind of get the world together back on its feet and the various areas that we need to focus on. Thank you once again for being a part of this event. We'd like you to stay on, of course, till the very end. And ladies and gentlemen, we now come on to the next part of our program, a much awaited part. Last year, this gentleman actually brought forth to us some very important points as he spoke about his book, Advancing the Common Good. This was at the last RISE Summit last year. And this time, he's live with us, known as a management guru across the world. I think many of us here on this platform have read his books, have attended his courses perhaps. And, absolutely, I think every time you get a chance to listen to him, it is something amazing. I'm talking about none other than Mr. Philip Kotler, author, consultant, the S.C. Johnson & Son Distinguished Professor, Kellogg School of Management. And to do a formal introduction to Mr. Philip Kotler, may I call upon Karon Shaiva, Chief Impact Officer of IDOBRO, to do the honors. Karon, all yours.
It is indeed my pleasure and my absolute privilege to make this introduction. Philip Kotler is known around the world as the father of modern marketing. For over 50 years, he has taught at the Kellogg School of Management at Northwestern University. Mr. Kotler's book, Marketing Management, is the most widely used textbook in marketing around the world. And I must say this from personal experience that the first time I read that book as a management student, I remember thinking, and I remember it so distinctly, thinking, how can someone think so detailed? I mean, I was just in awe, and I feel that awe again today when I'm here, right here, talking about you. Mr. Kotler has been honored as one of the world's leading marketing thinkers. He received his MA degree in economics from the University of Chicago and has received honorary degrees from 22 universities, including the Stockholm University, the University of Zurich, Athens, University of Economics and Business, the Budapest School of Economics and Administrative Science, the Krakow School of Business and Economics, and DePaul University. He is the author of over 150 articles and 80 books, including Principles of Marketing, Marketing for Hospitality and Tourism, and as Naresh just mentioned, Advancing the Common Good, a book that I actually had the good fortune to get from our board member and trustee of the Rise Infinity Foundation, Walter Vieira, signed by Mr. Kotler. And I know I need to return it back to Mr. Vieira. Don't worry, it's safe with me. It's a treasure for sure. His research covers strategic marketing, consumer marketing, business marketing, professional services marketing, and e-marketing. But for me, beyond all of that, it has also been about social marketing, social good. He has been a consultant to IBM, General Electric, AT&T, Bank of America, Merck, Motorola, Ford, and others. He has lectured across the world. And if I start reading those countries, my dear friends, we will be here all night. So I'm not going to do that. And with no further ado, Mr. Kotler, thank you. The privilege and the honor is truly, truly ours. A big round of applause, ladies and gentlemen, and as much as you can, please do.
Karen, thank you so much for that introduction. Are you free to go around the world with me so I can not bother to introduce myself as well as you did? I am so impressed with the people power shown here in India and in the world. The heroes who have come to help others. It's very simple. It makes us a civilization that we who were fortunate enough to have our needs met care about the needs of others. And the whole idea of the common good is basically to always think, how do we help people lead a happier, more fruitful life, more meaningful life? What institutions, what organizations, what impulses can help people feel good about themselves and good about others? So congratulations to all of the organizations that presented their work to us, and they are the real heroes. Now, the fact is, the world always has problems. I'm working on a project called the Wicked Seven, and we've gathered about 200 or 300 eminent people to work with us on one or more of those problems. The problems that are with us right now that are so salient are, first of all, COVID. We've got to lick that pandemic and get back to either normal or a better normal. The second problem is hunger. And hunger is inexcusable. Hunger is inexcusable. And it's not just in one place or another. The United States has hungry children, and we have food lines, and people need to do something about that problem. And I think that has got to be, always have our attention. We must reach a point of zero hunger in the world. The third problem is climate change. And we're going to turn more of our attention to that, because if you look at a map of the world, you will see signs of hurricanes in parts of the world now, floods in parts of the world, wildfires, droughts, extreme heat, and all of that, or most of that, is related to climate problems, namely greenhouse gases. We are warming up the earth, and that means that ice is melting in the Arctics, and therefore flooding that will come down everywhere to all the cities that are on coastal areas. And so we got to take very seriously those steps that turn us as citizens into what I call more mindful consumption and more mindful production. Let me explain what I mean. Of course, people who are hungry, it's not an issue of mindful consumption. It's a problem of not having enough food to eat. But there's a lot of people in the world who eat the wrong things. Their health is being sacrificed slowly. They are eating too much. And fortunately, there's a little revolution going on. There are 5 groups that I have detected who are concerned. One is the group called Sane Food Eaters. Those are people who've decided not to eat meat. They are vegetarians and vegans and so on because they don't want to kill animals. And it's not healthy. What's healthy are the grains that grow for us in nature. And then there's a second group called degrowth activists who think that we're spending too much time growing the world's economy. And of course, we want everyone to have jobs and food and so on. But are we consuming too much? As a matter of fact, as a marketer, I'm really an economist interested in marketing. But as a marketer, my profession is undergoing a crisis. In fact, our job technically, before climate change became apparent, was to get all of you to buy more and eat more and wear more clothes and have more pairs of shoes endlessly. And therefore, today, how do you square that with the idea of a world that has hunger, that has insufficient number of jobs? So as a marketer, I say, I really don't want you to, I just don't want to help every country sell more cigarettes. By the way, I've never agreed to ever help a country sell a vice product, an insane product, including alcohol, by the way. So the point is that the crisis is not apparent yet to the marketers, but they're going to be asking themselves, what's the purpose of what they're doing? Just to get growth for growth's sake without spreading it well enough. There's a third group, by the way, called life simplifiers, who think there's too much stuff in their homes. They would like to get rid of it. And by the way, that is part of that movement called the sharing society. Why should I buy an automobile when my friend next door has an automobile and we can use it together? Or we know about the hotel industry is facing this group, Airbnb, where people are renting extra rooms in their home instead of people needing to go to a hotel at a much lower and probably at a more friendly level of service. There are climate activists who think the planet is getting so hot that they've got to change their behavior. And a lot of others are what I call conservationists. There's a company called Patagonia, which is very interesting. They sell you your clothes, your jackets, and so on, but they say, please use them for a long time. Don't throw them away for a new one. Sew them up if they are damaged, or give them to someone else, because we don't need to make endless clothing in this world. And in fact, the latest thing is that Patagonia decided it's not only going to sell new jackets, it's going to sell used jackets. In fact, somehow some jackets got to be used goods, and instead of throwing them away, they're for sale too. So that's a conservation ethic, that we should stop making a new automobile every year with a minor new feature in order to sell more automobiles. Why don't we get more basic about what the country needs to, the world economy needs to make? Now, I wanted to just say a few things about, mindful consumption is my good friend Jagdish Sheth, who many of you from India know. Professor Sheth wrote an interesting article on mindful consumption, and I hope you'll get a chance to look it up. But I also think we need more mindful production by business. Business has to have its eye on waste. It has to actually, an intelligent and smart business firm will check into their suppliers, and they will not use suppliers who are wasteful or who are careless about mindful production. Let me give you an illustration. Walmart knows that the suppliers are going to send trucks load of merchandise to Walmart, but they've noticed that the trucks being used by some of their suppliers are so inefficient, so fuel consuming. They use so much fuel that Walmart has said to some of these suppliers, we can't use you. You'll have to get rid of your trucks and buy better trucks that do not create so much toxic air, or we will not buy from you. So mindful production is as important as mindful consumption. And I've been interested in social values too. A lot of our talk is about sustainability, but also social values. And when I see the list of wicked problems, I'm going to add to the idea of the COVID problem, the problem of hunger, the problem of climate change. I want to add two more. Inequality is a major wicked problem, and so is racism or ethnic discrimination, whatever. Now, with respect to inequality, I wrote an article recently, Billionaires, Can You Help Us Save the World? And it is true that there's been so much redistribution going on. Now, redistribution is what we want, don't we? We want money, the wealth to be fair around the world. But instead it's been redistribution up, not down, not redistribution down. The rich are getting richer as a result of some good things they've done. They've created marvelous enterprises that employ hundreds of thousands of people. But in the process, the working class is still where it was. It is not paid a living wage. When we talk in the United States about we got to go from $7.45 an hour to at least $10, at least 15, and 15 is what we're talking about in some cities, and that's not livable in my country. That's still not a livable wage. So basically, we've got to look at some ways of inviting the billionaires of the world to share with us and some of the wealth. Now, many of them give away money to good causes. And in fact, when you have a guy like Bill Gates and Warren Buffett starting what is called the gift pledge, where $250 12 billionaires have promised to give away half of their wealth in the next 10 years. And you can see it on your cell phone and see who they are. And we want to compliment them for caring enough to share happiness with more people. So I'm going to say just the final thing, and that is I got very interested in this question. The question is there any part of the world that we can look at to learn from about what is a good society? What makes up a good society? And my eyes started to focus on the Nordic countries. And what did I see? Now, the Nordic countries happen to be Denmark, Sweden, Norway, Finland, and Iceland. And what I find there is that when we measure happiness in a country, and we have pretty good studies of the level of happiness by country, the Nordic countries are all in the top 10 for happiness. And then when you take another measure, instead of gross national happiness, take the one gross national well-being. Well-being, you're healthy. You have well-being. The Nordic countries are again in the top 10. And so we ask, gee, every country should be high in happiness and high in well-being. So what is the secret? And it's simple. The Nordic countries have made certain situations necessary. One of them is an excellent health system. An excellent health system for everyone. The second is college education for everyone. You don't have to say, I can't go to college, I can't get educated. It's free. Free. The next thing would be childcare, good childcare from pre-kindergarten through K-12, paying attention to children and so that they really have a chance to grow up well. And old age people, aged people, taken care of in one way or another because maybe their families are not able to even help the parents, the older parents. So what I find in the Nordic countries is a model that's very simple. Let's just raise our taxes and then not have the worries that hurt our health and our well-being. And the worst thing today in the United States is we don't have that kind of system. A good worker who's worked for 40 years, he could be struck by a disease, by COVID, or an accident. All of his savings are destroyed. And he knows that, and he worries about that. And so how can you have a happy society on those conditions? I recently joined the board of a new organization called the World Happiness Foundation. Look it up if you're interested, the World Happiness Foundation. And we have been creating centers and communities around the world to talk about happiness and the conditions and to help people think more positively about things. So basically, the model is there in the Nordic societies, and it could be done by any state, any particular state or city in the United States can say we can follow that if we could raise taxes within our own group and have a better health system. Any country can look at that. And so, and the United Nations, and I enjoyed so much Bisho's remarks, the UN was created to be the agency that would work with the three communities of world governments, different governments, business firms, and nonprofits, and to guide us. The United Nations would be our guide. Now, the United Nations came out recently with the 17 goals, which is a revision of the earlier situation, and they have to do with what people ought to have as a basic income and health situation. So I think the United Nations and that wonderful talk we just heard is there to help. And I've done a lot of work on nonprofit organizations. I've always felt that governments are busy with the roads and the bridges and the school systems and so on, but there's a lot they don't get to. And that's why we create nonprofit organizations, or as you call them, civil societies. And civil society work is what we saw today from all of you, the people power of helping in your organizations. And so I think that I'm optimistic. I think that a number of forces are gathering to believe and support the common good. And we're going back to the idea that Jeremy Bentham in 1780, pretty much near the time that The Wealth of Nations was written, 1776, such a group of thinkers, and that was when the Americans of Jefferson and Madison and others, what a period. But one of them in Britain, Jeremy, he said, I believe in the happiness principle, and I'm going to use it as a utilitarian. It's my philosophy. My philosophy is utilitarianism, and it's simple. When we vote on a proposal, we must ask, not is it good just for me or for my family or for my city or state? Is it good for the people involved? Will the vote create, if I'm choosing between two proposals, which one will create more net happiness? Because most proposals, if passed, are going to make some people unhappy. But if a proposal is going to make more people happy than unhappy, it's a good proposal. That's how simple the common good is as a philosophy. And all the social movements in the country and the world that have been successful have really, the women's movement, the consumer movement, the labor movement, the environmental movement, those are all for the common good. And yet there are people who don't like these things. There may be their power is diminished by these things. By some men's power is diminished by women, and so on and so forth. But we got to stay and always ask all of you who are interested in people power and democracy and so on, what is the common good? Are more people happier with that proposal if it were successful, or more people unhappy? And that is my guideline for developing my principles and ideas. Okay, I better stop, but thank you so much for inviting me. The RISE organization 2021 did a marvelous job, and they will do it, I'm sure, in 2022. So good luck to RISE and all the values you represent. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mr. Kotler. I think every time you speak, you kind of reestablish paradigms, global paradigms, and you give us something to think about. And I think what you spoke about, mindful production, mindful consumption, as well as the whole emphasis on happiness, gross national happiness, I think that's a huge takeaway for all of us. And I believe everybody who's on this program today would be thinking a bit more about, what will it take to make the world happier? And then I think if that can inform our actions, it would be truly amazing. May I request you to kindly stay on just for a group photograph. Karan is already out here. May I also invite Bishop Parajuli, if you could join us as well, and Mr. Walter Vieira, trustee of the Rise Infinity Foundation and board of advisors. Yeah, okay, maybe have a picture, please. Thank you. We have with us also, if you could just stay on for a little longer, we have with us Bjorn Holmgren, consul of the Swedish consulate in Mumbai. If he could join us, if you could kindly start your video. Also with us is Dave Bhattacharya, business head new ventures of the Aditya Birla Group. And we have Jyotsna Bhatnagar, partnership officer, World Food Program. If you could also join us for this group photograph. Thank you so much to all of you. And thank you once again, Mr. Parajuli and Mr. Kotler, for some amazing, amazing insights and truly adding value to what has been an amazing 36 hours. Thank you again. And we now move ahead to a very important announcement. And for that, I would like to invite Mr. Walter Vieira, who's a trustee with the Rise Infinity Foundation, as also our member of the Board of Advisors, to talk about the Rise Ownership Award as well as the Rise Partnership Award. Mr. Walter Vieira, please.
Pleasant duty to announce the winners of the Rise Ownership Awards. The first award is Rise Partner Award, Milkar Initiative. The Rise Partner Award, Milkar Initiative.
We have with us Sangeeta Hasnale, Dr. Sangeeta Hasnale for the Milkar Initiative. Yeah. And to say a few words about Ms. Hasnale and the Milkar Initiative, may I call upon Ms. Jyotsna Bhatnagar, Partnership Officer, World Food Programme.
Thank you, Naresh. Thank you very much and good to see you. Wonderful to be here at this absolutely amazing event. Karen outdoes herself every year. It is indeed a very proud moment for all of us, and especially for me as the Partnerships Officer for the World Food Programme to talk about this Partnerships Award. I can tell you, as I live this on an everyday basis, partnerships are critical to find solutions at scale, which is really, really important in a country our size. And it requires all the key stakeholders, which is government, industry, enterprises, and civil society to work together. Milkar is an inspiring example of such partnerships. We know Milkar means together, and this is an initiative that is truly a collaboration between individual donors, NGOs, and corporates working with the MCGB for hunger alleviation, a cause very, very critical as we've all been talking about today. The combined work of the Milkar team during the pandemic brought relief to thousands of families. More critical as a criteria, it was an innovative model of public-private community collaboration. Milkar team, your efforts are truly representative of the RISE values that we all espouse at the summit: responsible, inclusive, sustainable, and eco-friendly. We are honored to present the RISE Partnership Award to the two key representatives of the Milkar initiative, Ms. Nirika Holkar, Executive Director, Godrej and Boyce, and Dr. Sangeeta Hasnale, Assistant Commissioner, P North Ward, for their efforts in distribution of ration and other essentials to the vulnerable communities and citizens during the pandemic. Thank you so much and hearty congratulations to you.
Thank you so much, Jyotsna. It is now my pleasure and honor to invite Ms. Sangeeta Hasnale to kindly say a few words.
Thank you so much for appreciating. I think first time someone has appreciated the MCGM effort also. When we met all these NGOs, and that time we decided that we are just doing randomly every work. We do not know that who's getting what and who's not getting what the actual beneficiary is. So we came with this idea of Milkar, and every distribution, whether it is a food grain or a food packet distribution, I would like to tell you that we have distributed around 3 crore 75 lakhs meals during COVID period in Mumbai, entire Mumbai. And of that, around 60 lakhs was from the NGOs, and entirely remaining was by MCGM through the state government and MCGM funding. And around 1600 people work for this distribution, who were the officer. I lost few officers during this period. First officer who lost his life during COVID is the person who was distributing meal in Dharavi area, Mr. Harian. So I dedicate this award to him and his family and all those who lost their life during this food distribution. Then we have distributed around more than 3 lakhs food grains. We have not even only it is given to the needy people or those who are stranded or those who are homeless, but we cater it to the CSWs, then third gender people, then those who lost their job, those who are very old people living in a big high society, but just because they do not have a servant or they do not have anyone to take care of them, we saw to it that some of our corporators used to go and deliver that meal because they are from very high society and they never like that our staff will go or NGO will go and deliver the meal to their house. So I thank to everybody who helped MCGM in their this activity, and thanks for recognizing our work also. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Ms. Hasnale. Truly, huge congratulations to you. I think we can all congratulate Ms. Hasnale and the Milker Foundation. It takes a lot for different organizations with different ideologies to come together for the common cause. And I think by doing this, they have demonstrated that anything is possible if you have the best interests of your community at heart. So thank you again and congratulations, Ms. Hasnale and the Milker Foundation. Thank you so much, Ms. Jyotsna Bhatnagar. Thank you. Mr. Vera, we move now to the next award, that is the RISE Entrepreneur Award. And for this, we would like to invite Mr. Bjorn Holmgren, Consul, the Swedish Consulate in Mumbai, to kindly come up and do the honors.
Right, so I've been asked to present the the RISE Entrepreneur Award that goes to the Migrant Travel Support Network, MTSN, that shaped up in the backdrop of migrant crisis to support the workers and the families with food and travel needs. The biggest strength of the effort was its network of networks approach, which got enabled by the completely volunteer group. The MTSN engaged more than 200 interns and volunteers from different walks of life and connected more than 50 on-ground organizations delivering relief to the migrant workers. MTSN, in its little more than 2 months journey, supported approximately 200,000 or 2 lakhs people. Ankush Singh, Mayank Lodha, and Sonali Mohapatra formed the core group of MTSN and took care of coordination, planning, and execution of all the activities. So congratulations, I'm very happy for you.
Thank you, Mr. Holmgren. Do we have somebody from MTSN out here?
Hi, Naresh.
Ankur Singh, yes?
Yes.
Yeah.
So we have the team here. We have Sonali, Mayank, and some of the mentors like Simran, Yash, and Akshay are also present here.
Congratulations to all of you. Would love to hear from you. Yeah.
Everybody is there. So basically, we sometimes don't even realize what our efforts can transform into, and something like that happened. It was an emotional call for people to come together. As I say, like butterfly effect, shaped up into something so substantial that we could touch upon so many lives. And it was basically a network of networks approach and hundreds of volunteers together. And we are happy that when it was needed, we could come together and deliver on it. So, and thank you for recognizing that. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Ankush. Hats off to all of you. I think this was a huge issue which was faced during the pandemic. And I think the efforts of your organization truly were well appreciated and something this country needed. Why were you given the RISE Entrepreneurship Award? Well, what the jury felt is the approach of MTSN was extremely entrepreneurial in terms of processes, coordination, engagements, and resource mobilization. The group understood the need of quick mobilization on all fronts, codified processes, and optimized resource needs to enable faster processing of requests. Truly something which you would actually define an entrepreneur as. The core idea was to map need of support, geographies, ability to support, and the current efforts across all stakeholders. And that was then used to connect and create the whole value chain to help the people in need. So ladies and gentlemen, that's why MTSN was chosen above other nominees for the award. So again, congratulations and a huge, huge thank you for what you have done for the nation in its hour of need. Thank you so much and big congratulations to you. Thank you, Mr. Holmgren. Thank you for doing the honors. Yeah. And now, thank you so much. And now we have a very special award to be given, the last one of the evening in terms of awards, and that is the RISE Global Citizen Award. And for this, I would like to call upon Dev Bhattacharya, Business Head, New Ventures, Aditya Birla Group. If Mr. Bhattacharya is out there, can we please come up and do the honors?
So it gives me great pleasure to name Mr. Yusuf Abramowitz, who's President and CEO of Energia Global Capital, as well as co-founder of the Araba Power Company. Named by CNN as one of the top 6 green pioneers worldwide, Yusuf Abramowitz is a co-founder of the solar industries in Israel and Africa. An entrepreneur, environmentalist, educator, and human rights activist, Yusuf was featured on CNN's The Next List with Dr. Sanjay Gupta in 2013 for his life's work, including efforts in bringing solar power on a commercial basis to developing nations. He has been co-nominated 3 times for the Nobel Peace Prize for his human rights work with unions of council, the Soviet Jews and the former Soviet Union. Yusuf was also awarded Person of the Year by the 2012 Israel Energy and Business Convention. The humanitarian angle is a part of Energia's quadruple bottom line. In addition to being profitable, the company seeks to benefit the environment, bolster communities, and project an image of Israel as an emerging superpower of goodness that exports solutions to the world's most intractable humanitarian problems: water, medicine, energy, and culture. The human race bears a moral and practical imperative to provide power for all, while also transitioning from burning fossil fuels to harnessing renewables, is what he said. He also owns the trademark for peoplehood. May I now, let me see if I can you see me now?
Yes, Mr. Bhattacharya.
So this award now to Yusuf Abramowitz is a proud offering from IDOBRO and all of us. And over to Mr. Yusuf Abramowitz.
Thank you very much, sir. That was a little bit over the top. I'm deeply honored to be here with all of you. Congratulations to all the winners, the nominees, and the participants. It's a supreme honor to be with the 2020 Nobel Peace Prize winners. Hopefully we'll have other platforms, and if there's any way to work together, I'd be really happy to partner in any way in the developing world. But by definition, a Global Citizen Award belongs to all of us. And so on behalf of all of us, on behalf of this global rise community of compassion, I was so touched hearing the good works that are out there. I'm humbled to receive this. It was a nice surprise this morning when I woke up, and totally unnecessary. But I do want to thank you, because what you've done is that you've opened, yet another portal. Hopefully a two-way portal, and I want to thank you for the ideas that I've been exposed to, and to the connections and the inspirations. I have focused the last 15 years on SDG number 7, right? Renewable energy. It comes with its sibling, climate action, and that comes with number 17, partnerships, right? So here we are all together, and in a sense, every SDG is monumentally important. But for me, I feel there's leverage. How can you have healthcare if you don't have refrigeration for vaccines? How can you have education without power? How can you have the dignity of jobs without manufacturing having access to clean and affordable energy? So it magically, at least for my worldview, ties the pieces together, and again, so you kind of honor that strategy, but with this award. Now, I was on the Israeli negotiating team at Paris, and there were 40,000 of us. It's not so impressive. And once the thing was signed, we thought we were being bold, and in retrospect, we were not nearly bold enough. And so I want to put a new number on the table for all of us, and that number is not 20% or 30% or whatever. It's 100%. 100% is our new goal. It's the only way to lift human dignity and Professor Kotler, thank you so much. I have some books to read. But it's one, to take care of so much of the wickedness, right? We need to go for 100%. And I know we can get there for two very specific reasons. The first, and 100% daytime by 2030 is, I believe, the next milestone, mostly solar, right? But 100% renewable by 2030 for the planet. And the two reasons that I know that it's achievable, and with that the lifting of so much dignity, is because we set out a very ludicrous goal for 2020 for 100% daytime solar in the south of Israel. And we hit it. We've been 6 months straight, all the electrons during the day from the Red Sea to the Dead Sea have been solar electrons, and by 2025 it'll be night and day. This is 2020. So now we have to raise the bar to 100% daytime globally. The other reason why I know that we can reach this and we can succeed is because look at Biden-Harris. Look at the new administration. The goal of the United States of America, right, the second largest democracy in the world, to India, right, is 100% renewables by 2035, day and night, right? So we have a proof of concept that we've been able to do now, and then we have a global leader giving this market signal. Some of you mentioned the role of the private sector, right? There's a lot of greed out there doing a lot of bad things. We've talked about it. But you know what? You can use, and the question of growth, right? How much growth and what kind of growth? We want compassionate growth. But we have to scale as humanity has never scaled before. And there's a business model for that, right? It's an impact business model. And the market signal now has come out of the US to reinforce all the things that we're all doing. And so these are the two reasons why 100% has to be all of our goals, and we all have to push it as quickly as possible. And you've caught me here in Africa. We've been moving forward with the solar in Rwanda and Burundi. We're about to finish. I'm in Liberia, trying to bring the good word, and it's hard but it's worthwhile. So it has to be a global effort. But I know that there's 100% chance, united, that we can get to the 100%. Like I know we can win this. And also just I'm far from home, but the sun is setting right now in Jerusalem. And one of the amazing things that happens for those of you who've been to the Holy City is that the traffic stops, the stores close. This is also pre-COVID, right? And post, there's, in so many of our faith communities, right, it's about valuing life and affirming the importance of a day of rest. And, we could, starting tomorrow or at sundown tonight, and it doesn't matter what day, what faith community you're part of, but if we all observed a non-consumeristic, right, day of rest every week, in whatever part of this planet, Caron, you had 60 countries represented. What an accomplishment. But just a global day of rest, right? A non-consumeristic, that along with all the other things that came up throughout this amazing global summit, I know that we could affirm life together. We could lift human dignity. And 100% we can succeed. And so thank you for this honor and for this partnership. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Mr. Abramowitz. I don't know. Ladies and gentlemen, you would love to know that he is also popularly known as Captain Sunshine. There are no guesses as to why that is so. But also, I don't think the sun was ever as humble as Joseph is. And truly, you are showing the world, the path to the future and what a sustainable future really means. So thank you so much for all you have done. It's truly indeed an honor to be among such amazing change makers in the world today. And I must, of course, thank Caron and Rise and Idobro for making this possible. As you said, 60 countries, 1,000 participants, 8 time zones. Difficult to pull off, but 36 hours of amazing conversations which have happened. And before we go to the absolutely final part of this, we got a very interesting talk left, but we need a quick photograph with our winners today. So Joseph, if you could kindly stay on. We'd also like to call upon Dr. Sangeeta Hasnale to be there. Ankush, if you could be there, if possible, your own team, but at least Ankush, we need you there. Also, we would like Bishaw to come again. Mr. Kotler, I know you are there. Can you please join us? Caron, Mr. Vieira, if you could be there, please. Professor Vinod Menon, if you're around still, if you could join us. And that'll be amazing. And Dev Bhattacharya. And Jyotsna Bhatnagar, please. And Bjorn, if you're still with us, if you could join us as well. Truly, truly amazing kind of people we have here right now. Amazing. Thank you so much. Thank you. That's truly one power pack photograph, if I may say so myself. Thank you all for being here. Thank you to Bjorn and, of course, Dave and Jyotsna for doing the honors, and of course, Mr. Kotler, Professor Kotler, and Bishop for being here with us so far. We have Professor Vinod Menon with us. If I could ask him to say a few words.
Thank you very much, Naresh. This is actually an opportunity for me to introduce Mr. Amitabh Kant, the CEO, the Chief Executive Officer of the National Institution for Transforming India, Niti Aayog, which is the new name for the Planning Commission of the Government of India. And Mr. Amitabh Kant is presently the CEO of the Niti Aayog, and he is a member of the Indian Administrative Service, the IAS from the Kerala cadre, and of the 1980 batch. He is the author of Branding India, An Incredible Story. And Amitabh Kant has been a key driver of the Make in India, Startup Initiative, Startup India, Incredible India, and God's Own Country, Kerala, which is a tourist destination which has been described in many of the travel advisories, and we can actually see that these initiatives have actually positioned India and the Kerala state as the leading manufacturing and tourism destinations. These campaigns of Amitabh Kant have won several international awards and raised a host of activities: infrastructure development, product enhancement, private-public partnership, and positioning and branding based on extensive market research. Mr. Amitabh Kant also conceptualized Aditi Devo Bhava, which means guest is God campaign to train taxi drivers, tourist guides, immigration officials, and make them stakeholders in the tourism development process of the India Tourism Development Corporation. And Amitabh Kant has also been the National Project Director of the Rural Tourism Project of UNDP, which made a paradigm shift in spreading tourism into Indian villages, which had core competency in handicrafts, handlooms, and cultural heritage. Mr. Amitabh Kant is also the recipient of the Sir Edmund Hillary Fellowship Award by the Prime Minister of New Zealand, and he is also the chairman of the committee to implement digital payment in India. So I hand over to Naresh. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Professor Menon. We are indeed fortunate that we have the valedictory address for this evening to be given by none other than Mr. Amitabh Kant, who's truly been innovative and absolutely impactful figure in India's history and current administration. And I must remind you, ladies and gentlemen, while this would be the last official address of the evening, please stay on because we've got a wonderful cultural program which will begin as soon as the vote of thanks is over. But before that, let's hear Mr. Amitabh Kant.
Dear Professor Kotler, Mr. Parajuli, Mr. Abramowitz, MS Pinto, the Executive Director, Glenmark Pharmaceuticals, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen. I am indeed very pleased to be with you and all the guests this evening. This crowning of such an engaging, non-hierarchical and multi-thematic conversation among professionals and kindred souls from 40 countries across 8 time zones. Let me start by offering my warm compliments and deep appreciation for Dobro and the Rise Infinity Foundation and all partners who make this great human conference possible. The COVID-19 pandemic has severely slackened the pace of implementation and achievement of SDGs across the world. It has also brutally demonstrated in one fell sweep how relentlessly integrated the world is and how intertwined different actors, stakeholders and responders are. Thus, we have also seen an outstanding growth of partnership among a very large number of diverse agencies and stakeholders. So a multi-layered world summit like this, seeking breakthrough interactions, has actually been planted on a very fertile ground. India's coordinated fight against COVID-19 has been the most important package of measures to shield the progress made on SDGs from the impact of the pandemic. Our systematic pandemic management plan has included system-wide measures and initiatives focused on specific groups as well as identified multi-sector interventions to contain the pandemic and trigger a sustainable recovery. 6 high-level empowered groups headed by top policymakers have led critical aspects of COVID-19 management, from health infrastructure, personnel and services, essential medical equipment and human resources, economic and welfare measures, data supply and logistics management, awareness and information support, data management coordination with the private sector, civil society and international organizations. Without going into a lot of details, I would like to highlight some major interventions. Firstly, emergency fiscal support was extended of close to $23 billion, which ensured immediate financial assistance, food security, and additional pensions for senior citizens. Special support was extended to migrant workers and frontline health workers who were exceptionally impacted by the pandemic. Health and accident insurance was provided to healthcare workers. Comprehensive interventions have also been rolled out for women and children. During the lockdown, about 85 million women and children beneficiaries were supplied food rations directly at the doorsteps. In the same period, nearly 500,000 more women were given maternity benefits. Ladies and gentlemen, Anganwadi workers who look after children at the grassroots level have been provided increased insurance coverage to strengthen outreach and delivery of nutrition provisions. As work, employment and enterprise suffered widespread disruption, the government initiated the Atmanirbhar Bharat Abhiyan, a self-reliant India program to provide fiscal stimulus to ensure access to health and nutrition, necessary capital support, easing of tax compliance in order to strengthen livelihoods. A huge package of measures has been initiated in various economic sectors to stem decline and build back better. Some of them are support for infrastructure development in animal husbandry and direct benefit transfer to 87 million farmers in agriculture, infrastructure development and direct support to beneficiaries in the fisheries sector. Support and services outreach was vastly expanded by multiplying partnerships that involved as many as 92,000 civil society organizations, all major industry networks such as in India and their constituents, the UN and other international organizations. For example, renewed synergy between the government and the private sector has resulted in India not merely producing PPPs but exporting PPPs from India. Every day we have been a major exporter across the world, whereas at the beginning of the pandemic we were producing no PPPs, no ventilators, no masks, and therefore this has helped optimize the safety and inclusion quotient of the pandemic response. As I have already said, providing for food and nutrition security has been a top priority and an abiding intervention area since a large number of people have experienced loss of work and income. This has been possible by dint of the pervasive food security system that is being built up across the country and other initiatives that grow them. A far-reaching transformative solution being implemented as a response to the pandemic is the One Nation, One Ration Card initiative, which ensures right-based access to food supply and covers over 800 million people at cost of as low as 3 to 5 US cents. It has also been noted that combined effects of malnutrition, the pandemic, and natural disasters like cyclone have increased the threats for vulnerable people. The disruption of supplies and services has added to the load of malnutrition while aggravating the economic slowdown. Emphasis is now being laid on nutritional self-reliance, activation of nutritional surveillance, reduction of delays in delivery of nutrition and other services such as treatment for mental health issues. At every stage of the COVID-19 response, we have seen what invaluable service has been rendered by our frontline workers, doctors, nurses, and health and nutrition workers. Our hearts ever fill up with gratitude and compassion. While a number of measures have been taken to support and protect them and aid them in their work, they deserve more. Therefore, I feel especially gratified to have the opportunity to hand out the Glenmark Nutrition Awards this evening. Each one of them is a crucial source of inspiration and hope in our response to the pandemic and other problems that conspire with it. As I conclude, I cannot but wonder how many bridges were built and how many new initiatives fertilized over the last 2 days. I would like to offer my best wishes to all the ideators, innovators and aspirant entrepreneurs who have made this summit a success. The Akshay Patra Foundation, Tata Trust, Piramal Foundation, Piramal Swast, Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation and many other organizations have done a creditable and immense job in providing support at the ground level during the pandemic. I am glad to know that Glenmark Foundation was among the first to come forward to support the most vulnerable, be it those in need or those at the front line through initiatives such as pledging 5 million meals and providing essentials to migrants. It is also heartening that Glenmark Foundation has focused on malnutrition from the outset, and these nutrition awards are another attempt to strengthen the non-profit sector for fighting the scourge of hunger. In conclusion, I would like to commend the efforts of all the COVID-19 food warriors who have played a crucial role in ensuring food and nutrition security during the time of crisis. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen.
Thank you, Mr. Kant, for those amazing words of inspiration and congratulations. And thank you, Professor Menon, for making this possible. Truly appreciate your efforts in this. We're going to now for the final group photograph, something which we need to do without which this program will be incomplete. Mr. Kotler, Professor Kotler, if you could ask you again to be available, if you could put on your video. We also would like Mr. Walter Vieira. And we have with us Tinsy George, Global CSR Head for Glenmark, who is with us. It'll be very remiss of us if we do not thank you for the support Glenmark has been giving IDOBRO and the RISE program. And yeah, Karon, can we also have Karon? And Ms. Tinsy George. And to join us all and to join them all, we'd like to thank and invite the absolutely fantastic IDOBRO team that has been working night and day. And especially, I think that all of them who haven't slept a wink in the last 36 hours to join us in this group picture. And truly, let's make it a memorable snapshot that we'll treasure for the rest of our lives. The IDOBRO team, but can we please have Ms. Tinsy George, please? Just to do the honors to get to the very, very end of this wonderful closing session of this amazing 36 hours, I would like to call upon Karon Shaiva, Chief Impact Officer and Managing Partner, Managing Trustee of Rise Infinity Foundation, and of course the Chief Impact Officer of IDOBRO, to propose a vote of thanks. There are so many people and so many organizations who played a role in making this happen, and it will be really remiss of us if we don't have thank them. And to do the honors, Karon, let's bring this to a grand close.
A very good evening once again to all you lovely, lovely people present over here. Despite it being a virtual platform, I can feel the high energy, octane, absolute energy around us, right? After over a 1,000 participants who have attended this 36-hour relay conference from across 4 time zones. I'm sorry, that was 8 time zones. See, I told you the sleeplessness is showing now. And over 55 countries, we have brought thought leaders from around 65 partner organizations who have facilitated and hosted these insightful 48 sessions. I don't think I have the words to say thank you. Thank you seems just too small to say it all. We were really, really fortunate and grateful to listen to the wise words and advice of all our plenary leaders who brought their experience and knowledge from diverse fields. I would like to thank, first and most important, is our knowledge partners, UNICEF, the Lewis Institute and Babson Social Innovation Lab, the Office of the Principal Scientific Advisor to the Government of India, and World Food Programme. I would also like to thank our co-hosts, Glenmark Foundation, Seed India, the Swedish Institute, and Krushuk Mitra. Our program partners, the World Benchmarking Alliance, the Community of Evaluators, WIBA, Cox, Fikiflow, Cancer, Sayog, Thomson Reuters, NTT Data, and so many more. Our country partners, the Consulate General of Sweden and the Embassy of Japan in India, in Mumbai. We have got so many other partners, as I said, 65 partners. I'm just not going to be able to do justice and call all of them, but I do want you to know that from the bottom of our hearts, we truly, truly appreciate every single thing that you have done and supported us through this 36 hours. None of us thought that we would be able to take it and carry it off without any major disaster. The minor disasters do not count. Yeah, and we've really... beyond the partners, I think there's also another very big part that we need to acknowledge over here. And that starts with our board of advisors and our steering council members. Again, each one of them, every single time I had to pick their brains, ask them for some support, help me to get reach to this person, do this, should I do this, should I not do that? I mean, sometimes silly questions too. They answered them all. I know I'm going to be missing people, but as I said, please excuse me and put it down to the sleepless nights. Beyond the steering council and the board of advisors, we had a whole host of our committee members. Without the committee members, without the working groups, without the volunteers, there is no way we could have pulled this off the way we did. So thank you. A very big shout out, especially to our young volunteers, many of them for the first time doing something like this, and they just came out with flying colors. So thank you very much. And I would encourage more and more youth to have that drive to take on like these challenges, though sometimes it can be a lot. It is still a learning experience you will never forget. And you will remember and say these stories time and again. Beyond, again, the volunteers, and I would like to thank the participants, because it is not easy to trust in a format that, you know, sounds so weird, right? No panels, no presentations, no, I mean, what is going to happen? Many people kept asking me, so what do you do? I mean, what is going to happen? How is it going to pan out? And yet it worked out so well. Don't you think so? Beyond this, again, I keep saying beyond because everything is just beyond what we had comprehended when we got started with it. All our chat table partners, all our workshop facilitators, I mean, each one of them. I know the chat tables was a first time try, and many people came back and said it was just awesome. So thank you all very, very much for doing this with us, our exhibitors and all of it. I'm going to stop here because I know if I continue, it's going to go on and on and on. But the people who are there right now in the room all know that each one of you have played a very, very instrumental role in the success of today's event. And last but not the least, the winners of the awards, the Glenmark Nutrition Award, the RISE Awards, and also the plenary speakers of both the opening and closing. And now, did I miss somebody? Did I miss somebody very big? Yes, our team, the IDOBRO team. And I want to apologize, not thank you, sorry, I want to apologize. If I was cranky, if I was demanding, if I was unreasonable, it was only because I wanted to push us all to make sure we could all today be here really satisfied with what we have done. Thank you very much for everything. Please, may I have my team? A huge round of applause for the IDOBRO team, please. And with that, we really do come to the end of this unbelievable 36 hours. I think, oh my God, I cannot believe it. It is actually exactly 36 hours. 9 a.m. yesterday we got started, 9 p.m. today we are done. So thank you all very, very much. We look forward to continue. As we keep saying, it's not an event, it's a platform. We will continue to stay in touch. It's only the beginning. Bye-bye and good night.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Karan. Thank you so much. It's been absolutely amazing. I can imagine the team effort that's taken to take this thing off the ground. I mean, last year it was 2 cities, maybe about 300 or 400 people who attended X number of, roundtables, chat tables, etc. And this time was a quantum leap. So out of, the adversity that we faced this last year, this has taken rise to a different level altogether. 60 countries, 1,000 plus participants. I mean, the only way is up now, I think. And I don't know when Karan is going to start designing the next one, but believe me, we're all going to be with her when she does that, and with the entire steering committee and the board. And I think what we've done in the last 36 hours is actually we have united the synapses of the entire world in a bond of humanity, in a bond of collaboration, and in bond of innovative conversations, breakthrough interactions, as we call it. Let's keep those conversations flowing. Please reach out to everybody you've connected with in the last 36 hours. You've made a lot of new connections across boundaries. And it's only this kind of brotherhood, if I may use the word, that's going to help us take this world to a much, much better place than we are in right now. So thank you once again. And yes, we need all of you, everybody out here, whoever's left now, to come onto a group picture. And do not forget, post this, it's time for celebration. There's going to be a cultural event. You don't need to miss that. You don't want to miss that. Yeah. So thank you so much for all your support, and have a wonderful, wonderful evening, morning, day, whatever it is in your part of the world. Thank you for being with us. Thank you.
Naresh, please hold on. There is something that the team wants to do. Guys, 1, 2, 3. Thank you, Naresh.
Thank you, Naresh.
Thank you, Naresh.
Thank you,
Thank you, Naresh.
I'm completely honored, totally humbled. It's always been a pleasure and an honor to do this.
Thank you, Naresh. As usual, I'm slow, so that's fine.
I'm so happy to do that. Thank you.
More special thanks.